work. With the S15 radiator core support, just kind of starting over, cutting off the nose, and putting it into place and making it work. Yeah, it's working. It worked well as it could. Did it take some trimming? Yes. Did it take some heat gun? Yes. Did it take some imagination? You bet. Because I was about to curse these right off the bat, but it worked. So let's take a look at it and kind of see what the final project is. Off someday. So this is our gap here. The bumper's not on. It's not in the final place, but for what it is, I'm happy with it because how it started, you might be able to pull that Fender in a little bit more. How it started, it was really wide. But we can go back here. You can't tell. I mean, yeah, nicer stuff is out there for sure. The availability of these fenders and the fact that I was able to get them to my house in 5 days from when I ordered them versus stuff from Japan and stuff that's on back order. Yeah, they work for that. It allows me to put paint on the car and get it into a finished state where I can always update the fenders later, which is going to be fun because that's another project, and we'll get a compare and contrast between, I mean, I'll tell you right now, the Origin Lab fenders are coming, but they're not here. So we'll get a compare and contrast between Origin Lab fenders and these are VSAero Fenders and see what did it take to put those ones on? What did it take to put these ones on? Is it worth the wait? Doesn't matter. I mean, honestly. So I started with the hood, put the hood latches in place, or the hood hinges in place, and got it so it's a nice gap back there. Before, the hood was sitting like another 2 inches up, and so it was a huge gap back there. So we got that into place. So that was going to allow the hood to sit how it needed to sit to make the car look decent. Now after that, I put the fenders on, and the radiator core support was cut out so we could move it back and forth, which allowed us to just get perfect placement on all that, and then allow us to get good placement on the fenders. And if you try to use the back bolt hole right here, this back bolt hole right here, on the S chassis, at least on the S13, it's out further. It's out this way further. That's why we used let me pull the hood up. So like I said, if you want to use that back bolt hole on the chassis, it's going to be, instead of right here, it's going to be like over here. So you're going to have a huge gap. I could stick, well, I tried it at the beginning, and I could stick my whole hand inside that, and the gap wasn't working. I wasn't going to build it. You couldn't do it. It was unusable. So what I did was I took the fender and pulled it in as far as I could, and I had somebody else helping me with the hood. So I pulled the fender as far as I could in, and then I just took some self-tapping screws and some fender washers and zapped it right down and put it into place. So that's a self-tapping metal screw in the back and a washer to hold the fender where it needs to be. Now on the passenger side, I did that to the second one. As you can see right here, we got one, and of course the back one. 1, 2. Both of those are self-tapping with washers to hold the fender in place. Same thing, basically stretch that fender over, zap it into place, and then call it good. This one just happened to line up right, just how these fenders are made. This one lined up so we could put an actual bolt into the chassis. And that is, I mean, I don't have one here to compare. I threw it away a long time ago, and I regret that. Is an S13 OEM metal hood versus an S13 OEM metal hood versus an S15 fiberglass hood or carbon fiber hood. This one's carbon fiber. I do believe that the S13 hood is wider. That's why those bolt holes in the back of the fenders are going to be sunk in more, because the hood's going to come out more and the fenders don't have to be so sucked in. So I don't know. That'll be an interesting thing to see on those nicer fenders if that is actually the case and those nice fenders line up better back there. They just have that pre-programmed in, and these ones are kind of whatever. But you're taking the body line of another car and trying to get it to match this car. So there's no such thing as bolt up on that. I totally get it. But so for what it is, yeah, they worked. $200 in stock. They were at my house in 5 days, so I can't be mad at that. Allowed us to continue on work with the project, and so it's not just sitting in my garage with no fender. That lip's all cut out there. Had to cut that out, trim a little bit, some heat gun here and there. The biggest thing was pulling those fenders over and getting them into place. Once we did that, once we pulled these fenders over, it was easy going for there. Everything is lined up, and it's just a matter of shimmying it back and forth, removing material, little bits of material. I wasn't going to add any material to this, so it was like they better work because I'm not adding any fiberglass or anything. Really, overall, there's just the average that you're going to have to do, especially the cheap fiberglass. Fitting of the fenders, trimming extra material. They always put those in those molds, and there's extra material on everything. I have this KBD body kit. We got to trim that a little bit, just extra material that they used during the molding process. So fenders, overall, if you're on the fence about them, if you're looking for something like I was, that's how I started this whole thing, is I was trying to get something to keep this project going while we waited for other stuff to come in from Japan. These work great. I say they do work great. Don't expect just a straight bolt-on. These aren't OEM parts. These are aftermarket parts, aftermarket fiberglass. I got these from Overboost store on eBay. Shout out them. They're awesome. They hooked it up with the KBD parts. We paid for everything, so I don't think this is any way sponsored. We're nobody. We're new. We have no subscribers probably when you're going to see this. But those guys, all the shipping was great. I think they drop ship it, so I think it just ships from the manufacturer. But anyways, you can check them out on eBay. Get those eBay bucks. Help your build out. Free dollars every quarter. Yeah, so I got those fenders from Overboost store. They're from VSAero. You can go to VSAero.com or whatever and check them out. They got all kinds of stuff. Sent them. Came bubbled wrapped. They were spectacular. I was worried about them coming damaged, but no, it was fine. Super bubble wrapped in a big old box. No damage to the box. During Christmas season, we got those in December. So, I mean, that's when they're crazy shipping, and those guys are trying to do everything. FedEx and UPS, I forget who brought them in, but they worked out. So, for the price, for the quality, I mean, you get what you expect. And then for the availability, I think is the big thing on those fenders is the availability. They're available and they're decent. So if you're on the fence about it, you need some over fenders, go get them. But you're going to have to do work. So don't go get them and then say they don't fit, because they're not going to just bolt right up. You're going to have to do work on them. Hit me up if you got any questions. If you have any experience with the S15 front end conversion on an S14, on an S13, on whatever, let me know what your experiences was. What fenders are you using, and were they better than this experience? I know you guys missed out on a lot of the beginning prep part on the fenders, because I didn't know how exactly I was going to put that all together, but it wasn't much. It was just moving material, mostly that inner lip, and then getting somewhere the door, and then figuring out to bolt that back bolt in and just go get some self-tapping screws and suck it in. That's about it. Other than that, you guys kind of came in and seen the rest of it, and you get to see the end product. So it was fun. Before I just ramble anymore, thank you. You know where to come check out some more stuff. You know what to do. If you like it, let us know. And let me know what your experience is. We're going to call it a day. Check back tomorrow, maybe even later today. We'll post something else up. This project is going to continue. So thanks again for watching. Out the Instagram. Go ahead and subscribe. Check out the videos. All that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.